So now we're on the tiger. The tiger compatibilities out of the 144 relationship combinations. And this is going to be with tiger males with all 12 female signs, starting with the female rat. So tiger male and rat female, there will not be much togetherness in this marriage. The tiger is too hot-headed and imperious for the domesticated and sentimental rat. She can be considerate and thoughtful only when properly appreciated, but he is too impatient and involved with himself. He finds her petty, possessive, and demanding, and each party will be dissatisfied with the other's performance. So the relationship dynamic there sounds like, the guy, the tiger male, is very much just more like overt and, big chest puffed out type of attitude and wants to just get his way. Maybe isn't so keen to notice all of the favors and things that the rat female does throughout the house or, in their relationship. And so therefore, because of that, recognition not being taken into consideration by the tiger male, the rat female is not likely to put up with that for very long because she's very much about fairness and working as a team, whereas he is wanting to be center stage all the time, maybe. All right, so now we're moving on to tiger male and ox female. A clash of temperaments imperils this match from the start. He is the nonconformist, the activist, and the defiant rebel. She loves tradition, respects authority, and behaves conservatively. These two stubborn individuals are miles apart in their thinking. It will be difficult for them to find a common ground on which to tolerate each other's outlook on life. So that definitely seems like opposites there at play. The tiger male obviously is very rebellious, very outward, very extroverted, likes to have fun, outgoing. The ox female is very reserved, traditional. She doesn't like to break traditions, whereas maybe the tiger male will be more likely to go outside the box and do things that are more risky or edgy or whatever you want to call it, 90s term there. So, yeah, that's what it sounds like to me. And then because of those very different personality types, there's a lot of misunderstandings there between the two. And eventually just not being able to tolerate one another. So now moving on to tiger male and tiger female. Both parties are attractive, vibrant, and charming, and may have a great deal in common. However, both are equally rebellious, stubborn, quick on the draw when displeased. So they're very, right away when they're not pleased with something, they make it known. And their easily bruised egos could easily place a strain on the relationship. So yeah, that makes sense then. For that type of energy, one's ego can be bruised easily if not recognized the way that they want to be recognized. Each needs a good deal of personal freedom, and they both have an excellent sense of humor, which gives them some perspective and may enable them to patch up their differences. But the family budget could have a perpetual hole in it. These tigers are big spenders. Okay, so money could be an issue with that combination because no one is there to really direct or keep track of the finances and spread them out realistically. So now we move to tiger male and rabbit female. The demure rabbit may be attracted to the rugged and appealing tiger man, but when she takes a closer look, she may be put off by his impulsiveness and daring behavior. He, on the other hand, can barely tolerate her moody and worrying nature. So maybe because she's too cautious. She's not one to just jump in. Like she's going to kind of test it out and wants to wait and see and not just go full force into things. She's rational, she's opportunistic, and he is led by his feelings and has little need for diplomacy or tact. She's polite and sensitive, where he is loud and spontaneous. Both will have to make a major effort to put up with the other's idiosyncrasies if the relationship is to work. So, yeah, just the tiger male being more of the impulsive type, wanting to take chances, be too party mode-ish, and she's more like she can have fun, but there's always a line there and where she's had enough and she can't just keep going and going and going. And also because rabbits don't like to just jump into things without knowing the possibilities. So, tiger male and dragon female. Both spouses are energetic, ambitious, and brave. However, they could overstimulate each other. With both of them being so innovative and daring, there may be no one left to finish the job once their mutual initial enthusiasm fades away. The dragon wife aspires to leadership and will fight the tiger for dominance. He will let her get away with some of the things so long as she does not restrict his actions or expect him to be docile. This overly dynamic duo cooperates successfully only after a good deal of adjustment on both sides. So that kind of relationship, you want to know what I honestly think about that type of dynamic? Where you have the male, which is naturally dominant, leader, center stage, is also with a female that is the same exact way, operates the same way, both domineering, competitive. I can see something playing out to where there's power struggles. And I mean, heck, there could be explosive fights, but there could be like having anger sex, so to speak, right? Like there is such thing out there where their anger could be more of a turn on to one another or something, or the dynamics of competing one against each other is, but it could easily turn sour too. So even though, yes, that is something that could also bring the passion and make it work out, there's a fine line between that turning into something where it's like resentment. It's like it literally becomes about competing and then it turns into putting the other down, wanting to outdo the other one, and just not really feeling satisfied. So that could be the difficulty there in that dynamic. So probably the best way to go about that is to allow each other to take turns in sharing the dominance, the domineering role. So now we're moving on to tiger male and snake female. Each will question the other's motives and notice only their negative traits. The tiger husband will oppose the wise and practical snake's sensible course of action. He finds her jealous, overly possessive, and too philosophical. She cannot comprehend his love for courting disaster. It doesn't help that she may be financially shrewd, since he is overgenerous and a spendthrift. This couple cannot accomplish very much together. So he's more fast-paced, and she is more slow and steady and introverted, like reflective. She's more on the Zen level, where it's like going through constant observations, keeping to herself, dissecting things, whereas he wants to be all out there, doesn't want to go into the deep thoughts that she wants to go into. And that could definitely be a problem, where one is more on the surface and the other is more below, more wanting to dig below the surface. Tiger male and horse female. These two make a well-balanced and harmonious pair, as they are both outgoing, fiery, and spirited. But while the tiger fights for a cause, the horse prefers to direct both their energies to more practical and rewarding pursuits. He will appreciate her quick and intelligent mind, especially since she can steer him toward worthwhile objectives. Neither one is domesticated enough to be too possessive, so they're both very big on freedom and having their own space and not being told what to do. He is thoughtful and affectionate when humored, and she is flexible enough to put up with his unpredictability. They will have a passionate relationship and will greatly enjoy each other's company. So that sounds like the best dynamic so far is the tiger male and the horse female, both being freedom lovers, both being very big on not liking when someone tells them what to do. So therefore, when they get to know that about each other, they will make that compromise. I won't tell you what to do if you don't tell me what to do. Okay. So that's the deal. And as long as they can still have fun with each other, it works out well. Tiger male and sheep female. He is outgoing, involved, and vivacious. She is domesticated, sensitive, and clinging. Although he will be companionable, he cannot devote himself exclusively to her needs. Indeed, he finds her too dependent and indecisive. She's basically understanding, but could wallow in self-pity if she considers him curt, impatient, or unconcerned about her trivial complaints. Each will have to adjust to the other's ways before they can make this marriage work. So it sounds like a type of dynamic where, it's um, the guy just is just being himself, doing his thing, and his wife is just quiet, and she's like expecting him to be able to tell that she's not okay, that type of situation. And he's just oblivious to it. So she just stews there and starts to like get more and more upset. It's like, why don't you know? Why don't you ask me what's wrong, type of thing. And he's going to be completely innocent, not trying to like be mean, but he's not going to know. He's not going to be able to tell when something's wrong. And that's the kind of dynamic I see happening in the tiger male and sheep female combination, because they're more sheep females, or sheep in general, are more emotional. It's very important for them to get their emotions validated and really heard. So the tiger male is not really well acquainted with that, with that level of emotion. They are emotional, yes, and very passionate, but there's different types of emotions. There's different types of feels. So the tiger male is not really keen to that part. Tiger male and monkey female. They live in different worlds. Although both are sociable, energetic, and outgoing, the temperamental tiger will dislike the competitive monkey because she is too intelligent and sure of herself to be intimidated by his loud dramatics. Unfortunately, he is productive and forceful only when given center stage. If the monkey lady demands equal billing, he could feel hemmed in and very resentful. Both are lavish spenders, but the monkey is more prudent and clever about finances. This mixture of two inconstant and self-possessed personalities will prove too overwhelming to do either of them any good. So, again, it's the same type of dynamic where you have two very strong-headed individuals or personalities. The only difference is that the monkey personality is more strategic. So, and they really think things through. They can become kind of pompous and like more acting like they're arrogant in a way, because their level of intelligence and awareness is probably slightly more keen than the tiger's is. Doesn't mean that they're any better, but they could act and come off that way. So with the monkey female being almost like condescending in a way, that's going to really piss off the tiger male. So that would not work out well. Unless they can figure out, unless there's other signs in someone's like overall charts of the Chinese horoscope that could balance it out. But other than that, it'd be very difficult to work through. Tiger male and rooster female. She is too smart, well-informed, and critical to put up with the dynamic but overreacting tiger. He is upset by her nagging, fault-finding ways and love of detail. And while he is open-handed, generous, and outspoken, she is efficient, thrifty, and methodical. He is idealistic, and she is a keen intellectual. The tiger is unconventional and ruled by his heart. The chicken is eccentric, but ruled by her head. Each is very self-absorbed and will be unhappy with and irritated by the other. So I guess that one doesn't sound very good either. Yeah, because they're both very outspoken. So the rooster's outspoken and says it out loud just like the tiger does, but they're outspoken, outgoing in a different way. The rooster's more of the intellectual. They'll tell you bluntly about logical things in a very cold manner, but it's truth. They're just stating, majority of the time, pretty factual information for the most part, if it's a true rooster. The tiger is more so, they're very expressive and outgoing, and they'll be blunt, but they're not going to base it off of like actual statistics or things that they've seen, observations, things they've read, or intellectual studies. They're just going off of whims of what they feel or how they see it from their end, and not really from other perspectives that are in combination to that. It's just going to be expressed through their lens, the lens of them and what they know, not from all the other possibilities combined. So, tiger male and dog female. This is an ideal marriage of two charming, attractive, and humanitarian signs. He is passionate and animated. She is loyal, understanding, and helpful. The tiger is impulsive and impatient. The dog is logical and clear-headed enough to advise him without getting personal. He admires and respects her loyalty and good sense, and she will not try to monopolize his affections. The fact that each is warm and responsive to the other's needs without invading his or her privacy guarantees a very satisfactory relationship. Okay. So yeah, that sounds like a good dynamic where the dog female personality, yeah, they don't like things to be too crazy. And yes, the tiger male can be very crazy and out there, but the dog is able to adapt. The dog has the ability to adapt and be more mutable in those situations and still appreciate, right? And the tiger will notice that the dog is understanding, because maybe low key the tiger knows that they are very much overt. Maybe the tiger does have an awareness that they are a lot, right? But they just can't help it. That's just who they are. But to notice that another person appreciates that or understands that part of them without judging is what really guarantees the trust and appreciation the tiger could feel towards the dog female or any other sign that displays that type of understanding, right? And being warm and not delivering things to where it's like almost like scolding. Like if you deliver something or advice in the wrong way, it's all about the way it's delivered. That could get a different response. You could be saying the same thing, but if it's delivered a different way, it'll get a different response. So, tiger male and boar female. These two dedicated and inspired individuals will work more energetically for the goals of others than for their own. They will make a happy team. The boar will be tirelessly devoted to the idealistic pursuits of the tiger, and he will admire her courage and stamina. Although she can be trusting and congenial, she will make him more materialistic because of her taste for luxuries. They are both sensual, uninhibited, and passionate in love, and both can brush aside little differences and will enjoy journeying through life hand in hand. So that sounds like another pretty good match. Similar to the dog-female combination, but just little differences here and there. Perhaps the boar female has more luxury in mind, so they do have more of the indulgences that they like to get into versus the dog female would, but overall the dynamic sounds pretty similar in the way energy is exchanged. So that's what I have for the tiger.